The Prime Minister has met the lone survivor, Ramesh Vishwas Kumar, right here at the civil hospital. But after leaving the civil hospital, the Prime Minister has tweeted a short while back. I want to take our viewers through on what the Prime Minister said. After the air tragedy, he had tweeted saying that he was numb and stunned with the tragedy that had occurred. And now, a short while ago, Prime Minister Modi has tweeted out, "We are all devastated by the air tragedy in Ahmedabad. The loss of so many lives in such a sudden, heartbreaking manner is beyond words. Condolences to all the bereaved families. We understand their pain and also know that the void left behind will be felt for years to come. Om Shanti." That's the Prime Minister after visiting the crash site, after coming into the civil hospital. One of the reasons the doctors were telling us he kept the visit to the civil hospital really short was because he did not want to cause any inconvenience to the loved ones, the family members who've been coming here in a steady stream through the course of the time when the air crash, the news of the air crash was announced. So that's the Prime Minister tweeting out, sending out a message after meeting the injured, after speaking to the team of doctors that have been flown in from various parts of the country, Delhi, Bombay, to treat the injured. Also meeting the lone survivor of AI 171, Mr. Vishwas Kumar. He met him a short while ago. He's also met some of the families of the victims of those who died in this air crash. Right now, I just want to give out information because we've had one of the officers come out and tell us to maybe, detail this information on national media, that those who have given their samples, and there are over 230 samples that have already been recorded. Those who've given their samples will only get the result of the DNA sampling after 3 days from now. Minimum 3 days is what we've been told that it will take for the DNA sample test to return. And understandably, because the doctors, the authorities at the civil hospital have a task on their hand. The mortuary, viewers, is full up. There have been 2 wards that have been made makeshift mortuary, to accommodate the remains of the dead. And, giving out details at the cost of being, not graceful, I would think, one for the account of news and the mammoth tragedy or the expanse of the catastrophe. I would just detail. We were talking to eyewitness accounts late last night who were helping bring in the body. The last body that came in, 2 of them came in, was at 2 a.m. And the details of those accounts, eyewitness accounts, are horrific because, very few bodies were recognizable. Those that were recognizable have been handed over to the loved ones, but most other bodies have come in terms of body parts or charred way beyond recognition. I was talking to some of the locals here who, alongside some of the RSS workers, alongside the NDRF, SDRF workers, the CISF Jawans, the RPF, the RAF, all of them. The Coast Guards were also on duty late last night. And they were detailing that they were bringing in, one of, the locals who were helping to bring in the body was completely broken down because he brought in body parts of a young child, and he really couldn't control himself from breaking down. So that's the expanse of this tragedy. That's what we are talking about. And imagine the plight of those who are filtering in one by one. Imagine, and I wish this on no one, to come in to hope that your sample would match with the bodies or the parts that have been brought in. So maybe you can accord your loved one a graceful farewell and a funeral. I want to cut across right now to Amit Bhardwaj. Amit has been reporting from the crash site. I'm reporting from the civil hospital, primarily from the room that has been designated as the DNA sample room. Once again, DNA samples that have been given in right now, the results of that will come in not before 3 days' time. And it will come in through WhatsApp messages. So the details of the loved ones have been taken, many of them. And that's, as heartrending it is. Many of them, even after giving in their samples, have just decided to sit in this room for whatever reason that might be, hoping that they'd be able hoping that they'd be able to get the results soon. And the authorities here constantly relaying that information to the loved ones, but they're not being able to understand that. They're not being able to comprehend that. And for reason enough, one can really understand. This young boy has just walked in. I think, yeah, this young boy who's just walked in, Sanjay just showed you, he's coming in to look for his parents. And that's the heartbreak of it, viewers. I want to go back to my colleague Amit Bhardwaj, who's joining us right now from the crash site. Amit, I'm sure you've been speaking to eyewitness accounts and horrific accounts coming in at the crash site, especially through last night and in the afternoon, when the locals tried to actually come in to the crash site. They couldn't really enter for the first 1 hour because the air turbine fuel and 90 to 100 tons of it that had spilled through about 600 meters in perimeter of the crash site was so hot that it was impossible to even venture close to the crash site. All right, there are more, it's tragic because this family coming in, it's a sense of daze, viewers. One by one, members of the family coming in, and all you can see are dazed faces looking for any information. But Amit, what more can you add? Amit, can you hear me? All right. We're going to cut into a quick break. When we come back, of course, the latest that we continue to get our viewers from the crash site, the latest that we continue to get our viewers from the DNA sampling unit at the civil hospital. I'll just, before I go into a break, get our viewers a sense. This side is where the mortuary is. There have been 2 wards that have been made into a makeshift mortuary, and the loved ones there constantly sitting in, waiting in for information. And there is an attempt now by the authorities that if they've given the samples, please go. There have been arrangements that have been made by the state government for, the bereaved who have come in looking for their families and loved ones, arrangements to stay for the next 3 or 4 days till proper identification and DNA matches can be made, which is going to be a long haul, not before 3 days at least, is what we've been told.